There's a secret, easy to learn skill that most poker players ignore that if leveraged correctly will improve your long-term win rate, enjoyability in the game, and give you an edge over the field. And that skill is what I'm going to talk about in this video. Let's dive in. For this video to make the most sense and be of the most value to you, I really recommend checking out my video about emotional charge if you haven't already, as it really lays the foundations for this work and introduces some concepts that I'm going to talk about in this video. Yesterday I played a session and I turned up maybe a little bit emotionally charged, but within an hour I was getting really close to that tilt threshold. And then it happened. I breached through the tilt threshold and into the wonderful unknown world of tilt that absolutely every single poker player is going to experience. If anybody tells you that they never get tilted, they're absolutely tilted. And there I was, deep in my F game, just not playing my best. I was taking very marginal spots. I was getting irritable, I was frustrated, I was bored. And it's in these moments that we have a decision to make, and depending on which way we go is going to dictate how much money we're going to win long term, and it's going to dictate how protected our bankroll is. And thankfully, I leveraged a skill that I've learned over time that saved my bankroll, it saved my win rate, and it's going to be one that I want to share in this video. The skill I want to share with you and empower you to use is learning how to wave the white flag. The majority of people that watch this channel are male, and with that comes the masculine ego of never wanting to look weak, never wanting to give up, and never wanting to surrender. And whilst this has some merit in some sessions to, grind through and come out the other end stronger, it gets to a point when you're so far past the tilt threshold that there is no coming back in that session. And you need space to decompress, to remove that emotional charge, or you're putting your bankroll on the line. And you're putting your bankroll on the line because if you're deep into the tilt and you're playing like your F game, your Z game, the worst that you can play, the actions that you're going to make are not only going to affect you emotionally, which is probably going to impact your long-term motivation and drive. On a pure win rate level, it's going to be really difficult to recuperate your losses if they're so big and so far away from standard. It's going to be really difficult for you to come back, and that's why your graph often will look like this, where we have sustained winning periods when you're playing good, but then your losses are so amplified by tilt that it's almost impossible to come back on the other side unless you're cheating. Hashtag Jack4. Hashtag allegedly. So if we can learn to wave the white flag, it gives us the space to actually heal what is going wrong. Actually address this tilt, reduce this emotional charge, and literally live to fight another day. For me, the mechanism I use is I just withdraw my bankroll. The site that I play on makes it super easy. I know not everybody has that, but the site I play on, it's instantaneous either way, so it doesn't cost me any money, it doesn't really cost me any time. Other mechanisms you can leverage to create space between you and the game, to reduce that emotional charge and heal, include things like getting a family member or a friend to change the password on your computer, and they only give you the password back when you're in the right state of mind to play. You could also use the self-inclusion feature on all of the poker websites. There's no shame in doing that. This is a good thing that you're doing. Creating this space is good for you. And you could do other things as well, like take the power cable out of your PC and get somebody to hide it. And again, only let them give it you back when you're in the right state of mind to play. Whatever it is that you do, there's no right or wrong answer here. You may have the self-discipline to just, shut the laptop lid and then not play again until you're ready. But you need to create that space. So just personalize this and do it in whichever way works for you. But taking that action to create physical space between me and playing again gives me the space to actually heal. It gives me the space to address the problem rather than just sweeping it under the rug and being like, it was just variance. It's like, no, wave that white flag, create the distance, and in that distance do the work that you need to do to take control of your emotions for the next session and the next session after that. And if you can learn this, learn to yield a little bit, learn to understand that this session just isn't going the way I want it to, and not get caught up in the, I just got to push through, I've just got to push. It's like, just breathe, create space, wave that white flag and live to fight another day. One thing that holds most poker players back from being able to leverage this skill, because it's pretty simple, just wave the white flag, this session's over, I'm too tilted, I'm not going to play, and I'm going to go and do the work and heal. It's pretty straightforward, but most poker players don't do it because it makes them feel stupid, or it makes them feel shameful, or it makes them feel smaller or weaker. And I want to let you know, a big takeaway from this video that I want you to have is that this does not make you weaker. It's not something you should feel shame about. This is actually something that only really strong people can do, because to admit that you are tilted, to admit, oh my God, I'm feeling emotions that I can't control and I don't know why they're coming up and they're making me play like a wally and they're costing me money. Admitting that and accepting that as just the fact, that's a superpower. And that is something that if you can learn to leverage, is going to give you such an edge over the field, because everybody's going to get tilted and everybody's going to slip into their FZ terrible game. And how we respond is going to dictate who's the long-term winner. So when you're in that moment and you hear that little voice come up that's like, oh, don't be so stupid or don't be so weak, just be like, breathe. I'm waving the white flag for today. I'm gonna live to fight another day. So that's what I want to share with you today, empowering you to use that white flag, wave it around, yield a little bit, come back stronger. If you found value here, please let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in learning more about tilt and tilt control, there's more content on the way. Please check out the videos that I've already made, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Thanks for watching. Peace.